Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dr. Archer's Lectures. Today we're going to be talking about exchange rates. How many dollars would it take to buy a euro? How many dollars would it take to buy a yen? How many dollars would it take to buy a ruble? This becomes important in the era of international trade, which we talked about in our last lecture. The money has to be exchanged back and forth in the local currencies. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, how that's completed and how those prices are set. So let's start with the very basics. What is an exchange rate? An exchange rate is the price of one country's currency in terms of another's. So how many dollars does it take to buy a euro? How many euros does it take to buy a ruble? How many rubles does it take to buy a peso? The price of one country's currency in terms of another. So let's look at an example here. Let's say that it takes $1.50 US to buy 1 euro. $1.50 US equals 1 euro. So the euro price is 1 euro for $1.50 US. 1 over $1.50, just like you see here. This is the exchange rate, 2 euros, and it's for people who are holding dollars who want to convert them to euros. Now, who would that be? That would be anybody from the US traveling to Europe, anybody in the US who might want to invest in Europe, and anybody in the US who might want to buy goods and services that were made in Europe. So any of those people that's holding dollars and wants to buy euros, they can buy 1 euro for $1.50 US. Now, what about the people who are holding euros and want to buy dollars? Well, then they look at the dollar price. The dollar price is if you want to buy $1.50 US, it takes 1 euro. So if you want to buy $1.50 US, you have to pay 1 euro. That's the exchange rate of euros to dollars. And it's for people who are holding euros who want to buy dollars. Now, who would that be? That would be anybody in Europe who either wants to travel to the US or who wants to invest in an American company or who wants to buy goods produced in America. So you notice that these exchange rates, the euro price and the dollar price, these are mirror images of each other. These are reciprocals, and it's always that way. Exchange rates must be reciprocals. So let's look at this in just a little bit more detail. If a euro is worth $1.40 US, what is the euro price of $1? So if I'm holding euros and I want to buy dollars, if I want to buy $1, it's going to cost, if I want to buy 1 euro is $1.40 US. 1 euro is $1.40 US. Let me say it again because I didn't say that right the first time. $1 is $1.40 US. So if I want to buy 1 euro, if I have $1 to spend, 1 US dollar, I'm going to get 0.714 euros for that dollar. 0.714 is how many euros you get for 1 US dollar. If you want 1 euro, it costs $1.40 US. If you have 1 US dollar to spend, then what you're going to get is 0.714 euros. Or conversely, if you want to buy $1, it will cost you 0.714 euros. I hope that's clear. It feels like I've been a little discombobulated here, but I think you've got it. So if a euro is worth $1.40, and a US car sells for $20,000, what is its euro price? Well, first of all, let's back up and talk about that. If that car is made in the US, the workers here are paid in US dollars, the materials people are paid in US dollars, the landlord here is paid in US dollars, the utility companies are paid in US dollars. Everything here happens in US dollars. So that car is going to be priced in US dollars. If it's going to be sold in Europe, somewhere along the way, the US dollars are going to be converted, the euros that the people there have to spend are going to have to be converted to US dollars for payment here. So if I'm in Paris and I want to buy a US car, I might go to my car dealer and pay in euros. But in the background, that's going to be converted to dollars because the US car manufacturer has to be paid in dollars. So the price is set in dollars. The price is $20,000. But if €1 is worth $1.40 US, that price of that car is going to be less, isn't it? In fact, $20,000 US divided by the value of a euro, 1.4, €1 is worth $1.40, means that the European price of that car is going to be 14,285 euros. If you're in Europe and you're buying the car in euros, it's 14,285 euros. If the exchange rate changed, if it went up, then the price of the car is going to go up, not because the car changed, but just because the exchange rate changed. And we'll look at that in a little more detail as we go along. So foreign exchange markets. Foreign exchange markets are based on supply and demand. Who decides how many US dollars it takes to buy €1? Who decided that $1.40 US equals €1? Well, that's decided by the supply of euros and the demand of euros, the supply of dollars and the demand of dollars. And how is supply and demand for these currencies created? Well, when US travelers to Europe, when US citizens travel to Europe, they have to pay in euros. So they take their dollars to the bank, they sell the dollars to the bank and supply dollars, they sell the dollars, supply dollars, and they buy euros, they demand euros. They exchange their dollars for euros. They supply the dollars, they sell them back, and they demand the euros. Why? Because when you go to Europe, you have to pay in euros. European visitors who come to Disney World pay in dollars. So they go to the bank and they buy dollars. And to buy those dollars, they sell back their euros. So when European visitors come to Disney World, they have to pay in dollars because we're in America. So they go to the bank and they sell euros. They supply euros to buy dollars, demand dollars. Same way with US exporters. US exporters of goods to Europe are going to ultimately get paid in dollars. So Europeans, and this often goes on behind the scenes, this is not something that happens at the car dealership, but behind the scenes, Europeans are selling euros, they're supplying euros, and they're demanding dollars because they're buying US goods, and those US goods have to be purchased in US dollars. Likewise, When we buy European goods, it all runs in reverse. All goes on in the background. It's not like when we go to Walmart, we have to pay in euros or yen or something. Oh no, it all goes on in the background. But ultimately, when we buy imported goods that are here, that have come here from another country, we sell dollars, supply dollars in order to buy euros, demand euros, so that we can pay for those European goods in euros. So with that in mind, here are the determinants of demand for US dollars. Under what circumstances would people demand US dollars? Anytime someone in another country is buying something that we produced, they're going to demand dollars to pay for it. So when people in other countries buy our exported goods, things that are made here and shipped to other countries, they're going to demand dollars to pay for that. When people from other countries come to the United States as tourists, well, we don't accept yen at Denny's. No, you're going to have to pay in US dollars, and so they would demand US dollars. When people in other countries invest in American companies, they make those investments in US dollars. They demand dollars. And then you have currency speculators, people who just change money from euros to dollars to yen to yuan to rubles because they expect to take advantage of increases in value on those currency. Those are currency speculators. And then there's the possibility of government interventions. If the currency is, the value of the currency is falling too fast, the government might buy some of the currency in order to support the exchange rate. So the market demand for US dollars represents a market supply of a foreign currency. So let's think about that for a second. If people are demanding US dollars, well, they're supplying their local currency. They sell their currency in order to buy our currency so that they can use our currency to buy these goods or services that we have for sale. So these things are always going to offset. What doesn't offset is the direction of the flow. If people become very interested in American goods and services, they may demand lots of American dollars. They may buy all kinds of things from us and supply lots of their currency in order to do that. So if their currency supply shifts to the right, and demand for US dollars also shifts to the right, you can see where the equilibrium price would increase. And we'll look at that in a little more detail in a second. So these are all the determinants of demand for the US dollar. Let's look at the determinants of supply. For supply, it all works in the opposite direction. We supply dollars when we, here in the United States, buy things that are made and produced in other countries. So when we buy imported goods, we supply dollars, we sell our dollars to buy that foreign currency, the euro or the yen or the yuan or whatever currency it's priced in. When we travel to other countries, I recently went to Spain. When I went to Spain, I sold my US dollars to buy euros so that I could spend them in Spain. When Americans invest in other countries, same thing. You sell your US dollars to buy the local currency so that you can pay for this investment. And then we have these last two, which are also determinants of demand. You have currency speculators, which may be selling certain currencies to buy other currencies, expecting changes in the exchange rate that they can take advantage of and profit from. Or you might have government interventions. If in certain cases, a government might choose to sell some of its currency into the market to stabilize its exchange rate. The market supply of US dollars represents a market demand for foreign currency. It's always balanced. So the value of dollar is indicated by its purchasing power. So let's look at this example. BMW costs 30,000 euros. But if it's going to be sold in the US at the US dealership, it's priced in US dollars. But ultimately, this cost, this 30,000 euros, has to be paid in euros. So if 1 euro equals $1.50 US, then the US price of this BMW is going to be $45,000. Enough US dollars to cover $30,000, 30,000 euros rather, 30,000 euros, because this is the price that must be paid to the German manufacturer. If the exchange rate changed to 1 euro equals $1.60 US, which is a kind of a big swing, but not unheard of, then the BMW's price in the United States would rise to $48,000. It takes $1.60 US to cover each of those 30,000 euros. That is the price of this BMW to the German manufacturer. So you can see that just by changes in the exchange rate, the price of that car just went up $3,000. The law of demand tells us as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. So if in fact the exchange rate fluctuated in this direction and it continued to fluctuate so, it would make it harder and harder for that German manufacturer to be able to sell that car in the US, because the price of the car is going up for US buyers, and yet nothing on the car has changed. There's no additional value for the additional cost. So at this higher price, the quantity of BMW sold will decrease. Here's what this looks like on a supply and demand graph. You've got your supply curve here. This is your supply of dollars, and you've got your demand curve here. This is your demand for dollars. And at that point where quantity supplied equals quantity demanded, that's your equilibrium price and quantity, and that's your market price, your exchange rate. It's the equilibrium price of dollars against the euro. So when the supply of dollars shifts to the right, when there are more dollars in the market, I guess that would be this one. When there are more dollars in the market, when the supply of dollars shifts to the right, well then the equilibrium price goes down. It actually goes down. But when the supply of dollars shifts to the left, when there are fewer dollars in the market, well then the equilibrium price goes up. This has also to do with the demand for dollars. If more people are buying dollars as opposed to selling dollars, then that's when you get the supply shift to the left and the price goes up. If more people are selling dollars, we're buying imports, then that's when you get the supply shift to the right and the price goes down. So that's it for Dr. Archer's lecture on foreign exchange rates. And this is the last in the Dr. Archer Lecture series. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you found it helpful. Look forward to seeing you in virtual office hours and in the classroom overall. Have a great day.